Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, your number one source for income-oriented investing. And in today's video, I'm going to do the opposite of what I did in a recent video where I went over the things that I don't like about the ETFs that I own. Got to be open and honest. And by the way, in case you're wondering, all the things I don't like, I've already mentioned and the fund managers and the companies know about them already. But in today's video, I'm going to do something definitely more positive and tell you everything that I love. Everything that I love. Of course, there's a lot of things that I love about the ETFs that I own. So let's start with HYLD. So what is there to say about HYLD? I love the new HYLD, right? That HYLD went fully internal starting in February, approximately February 2024. I love the yield. I like the sustainability of the distribution. They've only ever increased the distribution since HYLD 2.0 in February 2024. I really like the strategy. You're looking at, ETFs that hold an ETF that holds other ETFs, but in terms of the cover call strategy, they're doing at the money calls on 30% of the portfolio, which is, in my opinion, very similar in cover call strategy or option premium you could receive to about out of the money on max 50% of the portfolio, 33 to 50. So to me, the strategy is good. I really like the strategy. I love, of course, that there's a 0% management fee on top. So you're not paying anything extra. You're basically paying a management fee of 65 basis points for HYLD. I love the people at Hamilton ETFs. Okay, I do have a special place in my heart for them, of course. I've met many of them in person and had many discussions with them on Zoom, of course, because we do a lot of Q&As and we do a lot of calls to set up for Q&As to make sure you guys fully understand and are up to speed on all their products. I've met Rob, I've met Patrick, a lot of other people I've met over Zoom, like Jennifer and Babak, I believe. Nick, talked to him many times, right? We all love Nick. He's the brains behind the options strategies, the chief's options strategist. Really cool guy. There's also Vern, which is part of the team, which used to be at Global X. I've interviewed him right before he left Global X as well. So a great team at Hamilton ETFs. Really like the guys there. I also where's Louis? There he is. Okay, I was wondering where's Louis. Also talked to Louis a lot. He's obviously the boss at the marketing. So really great people at Hamilton ETF. So that's what I definitely love about HYLD. But of course, we got to look at really what matters, the numbers. And another thing that I love about HYLD is the ETF performance. So HYLD is kind of an S&P 500 kind of hedge the Canadian dollar. So if we compare it to VSP, which is the Vanguard S&P 500 hedge the Canadian dollar, as of January 1st of 2024, you see that with dividends reinvested and without, HYLD is beating the S&P 500, everyone. So obviously, you can't ask for anything more, right? In terms of performance, obviously, HYLD is a massive plus on my side. That is what I love about HYLD. USCL and QQCL, what I really honestly love about them is just they're straight up, super simple. Literally the S&P 500 index, the NASDAQ 100 index, with the covered call strategy that I like. Slightly out of the money, max 50%, right? Kind of like Harvest. Very nice high yields that are very impressive in the 14 and the 15% range. Now, I think maybe that's I would be a little bit more comfortable if they would, of course, everyone loves higher yield. But I think this one QQCL should be more on the 14.5, maybe early 15 range. And this one should be, this one's okay, I think, at 14. But I don't get me wrong, I really like the consistent distributions. They raised them as well. Then we had a discrepancy for the April declaration, the May payout. They lowered to 23.5 cents from 25.5, but they since raised it back to 25. In case you didn't know, it was 23 for the longest time. Then in 2025 they raised it to 25.5. A slight distribution decrease to 23.5 for 1 month. So we'll have to see what happens, but Very, very nice consistent distribution. Same exact thing for QQCL, right? Started at 25 cents, then they raised it to a whopping 29.5, a little 2 cents lower, and now it's back to 29.5. I think actually keeping it at 27.5 would be good, but either way, I think they're fully sustainable. Another thing that I really love is the total returns, right? So the USCL, of course, we need to compare to VFV, not VSP, because USCL is not hedged to Canadian dollar. So that your classic super popular VFV, you see that it's not outperforming. It was prior to April slightly, but I think eventually it will catch up. Of course, when there's a big drawdown, a big dip, that 25% leverage is against you. But then, of course, over time, leverage is going to be your friend over time. That's what Rob Wessel says. I really like that saying. So you could see here that the performance is really good. It's very close, very similar to the S&P 500 with dividends. Reinvested in dividends without, and I think over time it'll probably catch up. Same exact thing for QQCL, right? If we compare to simply the NASDAQ 100 in Canada, non-hedge, which is QQC. Why isn't it working now? Oh, QQC. Come on. You see that it's kind of a similar story to USCL. It's very similar performance. A little bit slightly under. And same thing, right before April, it was beating QQC. It was beating the index. So that's obviously something I really like about QQCL, USCL, and HYLD is the performance. You always got to look at not just the yield, guys. Yield is not return. You actually got to look at the total return. So when I look at HYLD, I always compare it to VSP. I always compare USCL to VFV and QQCL to QQC, or ZNQ is another one, which is the BMO NASDAQ 100. What do I love about HHIS? I mean, it's a community favorite. I love the extremely high yield of about 25-26%. I love the stock selection. I mean, this is kind of like a Magnificent Seven / concentrated NASDAQ. There's going to be 15 stocks. This is really going to be designed for high income. Plus, you're getting concentration in really the digital monopolies, right? I'm talking about, of course, Amazon, Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, Meta. And I really love the fact that I say he, I'm talking about Michael Kovacs, the CEO, but Harvest put strategy and Coinbase in here, Palantir as well. But I kind of like that they have Costco and Lilly to kind of like, I just find the stock selection has been chosen is practically perfect for the 15 stocks. Apple's coming as number 15. I also love the fact that it's only 40 basis points, 0.4 management fee. So HHIS is like one of the highest yielding stocks in my portfolio in terms of it's the highest yielding core US equity position portfolio. US equity position in my US portfolio. Oh my God, I'm screwing it up so bad. Between HYLD, USCL, QQCL, and HHIS, which are my core holdings for my US equity exposure, it's the lowest management fee. There you go, I got it out. HYLD, USCL, 65 basis points, QQCL is 85, and this is actually 40 because it has no management fee on top, 0, and all the single stock that it holds are 40 basis points. So essentially the management fee of HHIS is 40 basis points. I absolutely love HHIS. Very high yield, consistent, very nice, still 25 cents. So I can't think of what there is not to love about this one. HBIX and HBTE also own for my, and obviously I own MSTE, right? Is one of my 3 Bitcoin exposures, and I love MSTE as well because of the management fee. Again, is 0.4. They're doing covered calls on a max 50% of the portfolio, but they typically, I confirmed this with Michael Kovacs, they could go max 50%, but they're typically near the 33% range. 25% leverage, that's my favorite combination. You have very nice yields, and of course I'm gonna expect varying distributions with MSTE. I'm actually thinking it's gonna go down because volatility has dropped significantly on MicroStrategy, on strategy stocks, so we'll see what happens. But in terms of the format of MST, I absolutely love that format, the management fee. HBIX, finally, this is a very classic Bitcoin covered call ETF. It just holds IBIT, does covered calls on IBIT, so it's very, very, very simple. You know, you got your classic Harvest covered call ETF strategy, max 50%. They're probably doing covered calls on about 33% of the portfolio. I like the management fee. It's more competitive than the Global X BCCL. This is 65 basis points, where the Global X one is the leverage Bitcoin, same thing, is 85. And it's even much, much better than the purpose one, BTCY. Is it BTCY, BCC? I can't remember. It's 1.1 management fee. So HBIX, I love that about this one. The fee, the simplicity, the cover call strategy is great on this one. HBTE, I love the idea. That's my favorite thing about this one. Kind of like an HHIS, it's 15 stocks that have to do with Bitcoin instead of just 15 innovation stocks. So I really, really like the stock selection. You have Coinbase and Block and Galaxy, Marathon, MicroStrategy. You actually have 10% in IBIT itself and a bunch of all little crypto miners. And the fee's good as well, 75 basis points. I think that's fair because they're going to have to keep looking at which Bitcoin companies are going to be added in here. I love the yield. It started at 33% yield because it started at $12. Now it's over $15. So it's more along the lines of 28% yield. So this is actually phenomenal. What I love about this one the most, just the idea and the concept behind it. Bitcoin related companies. So this is kind of like an extra exposure or another type of exposure to Bitcoin. So for me, I have this for my Bitcoin exposure number one. Bitcoin exposure number two is Bitcoin itself. And then I have MSTE, which is a leverage cover call play in MicroStrategy. Of course, another thing I love about Harvest ETFs, everyone, I have to say it, is the team. Michael Kovacs, been on the channel many times. You know, I met him in person, had dinner with him. We actually had dinner with him and David. Really, really cool people. We met Carolyn as well. Carolyn is great. SVP of marketing. Met Paul as well. I met with a bunch of other people from Harvest as well. Chris Heeks, who used to be with BMOs, now with Harvest. So they have a great, great team. They all do, by the way. Global X, I met the leadership as well. I have pictures of it on my Instagram. So for all three of these companies, Hamilton, Global X, Canada, and Harvest, I absolutely love the people that work there. The management team, they're all great, great people. All met them in person. So yeah, I mean, that's what I really, really love about the ETFs that I own. So obviously I wouldn't own them unless I really loved everything about them. What is your favorite part? What is your favorite aspect of HYLD or USCL QQCL HHIS? Is it the yield? Is it the management fee? Is it the team? Is it the strategy? Let me know in the comment section below, and give me a thumbs up on this video. I would really appreciate it. Let me know if you liked it. And of course, stay passive, everyone. See you next time.